on, wave at me. Anybody ever had Bishop say, I'll get back to you, give me just a little bit? Wave at me, just come on, I'll get back to you, give me just a little bit. In other words, hold on, I got to go check in. I got to go tie in to the Most High. Let me get a little bit closer. No, y'all ain't going to help me. So you got to survey it out. Nehemiah chapter 2 verse 11. Y'all better hear what I'm saying, because this is a word for some people here. You better hear what I'm saying right now. This is a thus saith the Lord. So I went to Jerusalem and was there for 3 days. That'll preach all by itself. 3 days he hid away. Then I arose in the night. Oh, some of y'all don't see a parallel, but I do. Is there anybody else in here see a different story here? After y'all ain't going to help me. Then I arose in the night, I and a few men with me. Look at this. And I told no one what my God had put in my heart to do for Jerusalem. Some of y'all need to quit giving ammo to the enemy. There's a time when you just got to be quiet. There's a time whenever you don't tell everybody where you're going and what you're doing. There's a time whenever you take your Facebook and turn it off. Y'all ain't going to help me. There's a time when you stay off your Twitter and your X and all these other things that you on. And you sit back quietly while God tells you and gives you plans and how to move. Y'all ain't going to help me up in here. Do you understand that if you begin to launch it out there and tell it all, the enemy begins to set up things? So I went by night by the valley gate to the dragon spring and to the dung gate. And I inspected the walls of Jerusalem that were broken down and its gates that had been destroyed by fire. Verse 14, then I went on to the fountain gate and to the king's pool. But there was no room for the animal that was under me to pass. Then I went up in the night by the valley and I inspected the walls. And I turned back and entered the valley gate, and so I returned. Is everybody still doing okay? I know pastor's reading fast. That's okay. Verse 16 says this, and the officials did not know where I had gone or what I was doing. And I had not yet told the Jews, the priests, the nobles, the officials, and the rest who were do the work. Can I say this to you? Especially to Beulah Worship Center. I remember Bishop when he came to me, he says, I found a building, but don't tell nobody. There's been many conversations between me and him where he says, this is what I'm doing, but don't tell nobody. In other words, I find you in confidence to be a man of valor with me, to walk with me. You notice he didn't take everybody. He said he took a few men. Be careful who's riding with you. Because not everybody riding with you is for you. You want me to keep going? Y'all want a little bit more? After he surveyed the land, y'all know what begins to happen next in chapter 2. All the way down to verse 18. After he surveyed the lands, he looks at them and he says, and I told them of the hand of God that had been upon me for good, and all the words that the king had spoken to me. And they said, let us rise up and build. Can I say this to the church? For such a time as this, let us rise up. Is there not any other time that we need to rise up and say, all right, Lord. All right, Lord. It's time to see altars that were broken repaired. It's time to see families that were broken renewed. It's time to see relationships that were destroyed by the enemy. God begins to redeem. It's time to... No, y'all ain't going to help me. It's time to see lives that were strung out, addicted, hung up, now being broke free, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb, and then restored. Amen.